All right, let's dive right in. In a world that feels like it's spinning faster and faster, a lot of us are looking for something more than just simple tips. We're looking for a real code to live by. And today, we're going to break down a modern framework that's built for exactly that. So let me just ask you straight up, are you completely tired of all the hollow advice out there? That endless feed of feel-good quotes that just falls apart the second life gets real? I mean, for years, you've been sold this idea of sugarcoating things, of finding temporary comfort, but deep down, what you're really craving is something with some substance to it. Something that gives you the honest to God truth, not just what you want to hear. Something that builds genuine strength, not just, a fragile sense of confidence. And this, right here, just hits the nail on the head. Our world is absolutely saturated with noise, with talkers, with opinions flying everywhere. But what it's truly, desperately starving for? People of action. People whose lives speak so loudly that they don't even need to say a word. So what's the answer? Well, today we're talking about a framework that's built for the real world. This isn't just some abstract idea to think about, no. This is a practical, gritty philosophy that's meant to be used. It's a philosophy with teeth. And at the very heart of this is the idea of a hard line. So what is that exactly? Okay, think of a hard line as like a concentrated blast of truth. It's a powerful, fundamental principle that, when you really get it, it changes everything. It changes how you see the world and, way more importantly, how you act in it. It's literally designed to forge a stronger, more intentional you. And let's be super clear about what this is and what it isn't. This is not your typical self-help fluff telling you everything's going to be okay. And it's definitely not some guru's manual from on high. No, this is a survival guide. It's raw truth for people who are actually in the trenches and need real tools to fight their way out. Okay, so theory is one thing, right? But how does this actually work in practice? Let's take a look at 3 specific hard lines right now to see the real-world power of this code. Let's start with a big one. Hard line number 3. You control only one thing, and that one thing is you. That's it. Not the economy, not what other people do, not the weather. Just your thoughts, your reactions, and your choices. And here's why that's a total game changer. The second you truly get this, everything shifts. You stop being a victim of your circumstances. You stop wasting all that energy blaming things you can't influence. Your life stops being this thing that just happens to you, and it starts becoming something that you actively create. Now that is real power. All right, next up, a hard line that completely flips the script on how we think about difficulty. The hardest weapons are forged in fire. I mean, we're taught our whole lives to seek comfort, to avoid pain. But this philosophy, it turns that whole idea right on its head. And here's the big takeaway. Real, lasting strength, it's just not found on the easy path. It's forged in the fire of adversity. This principle teaches you to look at struggle not as some terrible setback, but as the very process that's creating an unbreakable you. So what happens when you fail? Because, let's be honest, you will. We all do. Well, this philosophy gives you a powerful playbook for turning those setbacks into your biggest strengths. It's called the Hydra methodology. And here's how it works. It's a simple 3-step loop. First, you face the setback. Okay, one head of the Hydra is severed. But instead of seeing it as a defeat, you go to step 2. You analyze it. You pull out every single lesson you can. It's not a defeat, it's data. And then, step 3. You use that data to emerge stronger, smarter, more strategic. For every 1 head lost, 2 grow back. See, you don't just recover, you literally multiply your strength. So when you start putting these individual lines together, what's the end game here? Well, it's not just about getting a little better at handling problems. It's about a total internal transformation. It is about forging an unbreakable self. And this isn't some random journey. This whole philosophy is a system designed to guide you through it. It starts with an awakening, that first spark of, this makes sense. That leads to resonance, where the ideas really start to click with you. Then comes commitment, followed by deep integration into your life, until finally you hit advocacy, where you don't just agree with the code, you are the code. You live it. So let's just be crystal clear on the ultimate promise here. This entire code is designed to do one thing, to help you forge a sovereign, self-reliant, and, an unbreakable version of yourself.
someone who isn't just pushed around by the noise of the world or broken by its pressures.
And that brings us to the final and honestly the most important part of all of this. Because after all the philosophy and all the frameworks, everything, it all comes down to you. It comes down to your choices. I want you to really let this sink in for a second. Every single decision you make, the big ones, the tiny ones, it's not just some simple action. It is a creative force. You are literally, actively creating your reality, your character, and your future with every choice. Now, stick with me here, because this last idea is a big one. What if you're not just creating your own reality? What if you are a single cell in a much, much larger living cosmos? And what if every one of your experiences, your joy, your struggles, your learning, is the literal fuel that nourishes that cosmic being as it learns about itself through you? So we end on this question. If every single choice you make is generating experiences that literally feed the universe itself, what are you going to choose to create today? What kind of fuel are you going to provide?